Hey everybody, welcome to the Jimmy Dore Show. I'm here with Ben Mankiewicz and Steve Rosenfield. We're talking about the Zimmerman trial, the aftermath of it. And you know, Don West was the defense trial. He was the defense lawyer who started off the trial with a knock-knock joke. Brilliant. So you know that they won the trial because of these guys, their lawyering skills. It wasn't because, I don't know, everything else is fucked up in Florida. It happened to be because these guys are super duper lawyers. So here's what he had to say afterwards. You know, it's not a lot of gloating happening. Let's hear.
I think the prosecution of George Zimmerman was disgraceful. As happy as I am for George Zimmerman, I'm thrilled that this jury kept this tragedy from becoming a travesty.
Yes, now that the trial is over, here's some phony indignation to distract you from our cynical defense of a racist douchebag. It's hard to believe that a man would have to go on trial in America for defending himself against a black person in Florida. It really is.
As always, Jimmy, you leave out the facts that Trayvon Martin had weapons, as the other lawyer, Mark O'Meara, said. He had his fists, and he had a sidewalk that he was carrying with him everywhere he went.
Yes.
Like sometimes you remove yourself from it, like it's been a few days, and you're like, they really successfully argued that he had the sidewalk.
He had the sidewalk.
As the sidewalk as a weapon. So the good news is, I'm armed every day.
Yes.
I feel so safe.
Thank God the jury agreed with them that there's no sense in wasting time on justice for a dead guy.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
He's going to be dead anyway.
Yeah.
Let's face it.
The trial was a complete waste of time. We told you he was guilty anyway. All right, let's go. Here's the other defense lawyer. He has something to say.
Well, I think that the things would have been different if George Zimmerman was black for this reason. He never would have been charged with a crime.
You know, I'm glad I heard that because my doctor this morning called me and said, your blood pressure's a little low. So I'm glad that guy said, yes. If George Zimmerman was black, he would have never been charged with a crime because the cops would have showed up and beaten the fucking shit out of him.
He'd be dead now.
Yeah, he'd be dead.
I'm too, I heard that and I thought, you know, I give people too much credit because now that I've seen the whole statement and that these guys are like the worst winners in American history, right? They just got classless little bastards. But like, technically, right, in an incredibly narrow reading, he might be right. Because if the cops had, in a colorblind society, if the cops show up and there's a black defendant and a black victim, and then they reached somehow the same conclusion that no crime was committed, he was defending himself, there therefore wouldn't have been an uproar because nobody cares when one black guy kills another guy, as we know from not reading it in the paper and not seeing it on the news, that therefore there wouldn't have been the indignation and he therefore never would have been charged. But seeing the whole thing, I no longer think that's what he was saying.
Oh, I'm glad. I'm glad because, well, now that the trial's finished, luckily they still had some racist bullshit left over to say.
You don't want to use it all up.
No, not during the trial. You know, he does have a point. When will we as a society stop persecuting half-white, half-Peruvian gun nuts?
When, Jimmy? When?
When?
Right, wannabe cops. Right.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice to see that guy. You know, I've been seeing that guy talk on the news about that defense, and you're like, oh, he sounds reasonable. Went to college. Oh, he seems like he's just doing his job as a lawyer. And then he comes out and says something like that about if he was black, he wouldn't have been arrested.
You know, there's a way to answer every one of those questions. I realize that these guys get asked questions to provoke these responses to some extent. Reporters ask question after question. They ask the same one. But you can say every time, look, our client didn't do it.
Yes.
This was a case of self-defense, but it's a terrible tragedy. And there's no reason to gloat tonight. We're very happy that George Zimmerman gets to go free because we think he's not guilty. But this is just a tragedy, and hopefully the people involved can move on. If you say it again and again and again and again, eventually they'll be like, all right, we're not getting anything from these guys.
No.
Right, but they can't help it. They can't help it. They're like, oh, wait a minute. Oh, I forgot I'm a dick.
I guess it was too much to hope for.
Yeah.
That they'd both admit that they were fucking scumbags, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Hey, look, we're all scumbags.
Kept
We
my
got this.
fingers crossed, but
And the thing is, Zimmerman is now, people feel sorry for him. He's going to be hunted. He is exalted as a hero on the right. How does that? Is it because he killed a black kid? Is it because they hate blacks?
I think it's
Conservatives.
because the government came and tried to punish him for exercising his Second Amendment right. He beat the government. He beat the man.
He killed an innocent kid walking home. How is that? How could he be? How could, like when Ann Coulter did Hallelujah? Now somebody said the reason why Ann Coulter tweets stuff like that. How could you be Hallelujah over that? A. And then somebody said it's the reason she does that is because when she was 6 years old, she said "fuck" at the dinner table and got a lot of attention for it, and she's been doing that the rest of her life. Is that what Ann Coulter is about?
I suppose, yeah. I mean, that seems like the limited intellect that would provoke. Yeah,
She
it's
knows
something
exactly what will piss us off,
Right.
and she says that thing.
Yes, it's got to be. Why would you say
Exactly.
Hallelujah?
Did you see you guys see the terrible pictures of Trayvon
Yes.
the body, which I think we all should have
You
seen.
see his face?
Yeah, you see his
Yeah, they
face.
show his face when he's dead.
Yeah, the MSNBC ran it. They didn't cut away during the trial, and so they put the shot on. We aired it on the Young Turks. I was on that show.
I think you should see it.
Of course, you should see it because first of all, there was
It humanizes the kid.
It humanizes the kid. It makes the tragedy far more
Worse.
real, and you feel it more, and you need to feel it more. It's
Yes.
the death of a 17-year-old kid who wanted Snapple and Skittles.
Wearing
And-
khakis, by the way. Wearing a pair of khakis.
Either khakis or tight jeans. No one ever menaced anyone in skinny jeans in the history of America, right? And they're rolled up at the bottom.
At the bottom.
At the ankle, he's got them. He's rolled up the cuffs, and the hoodie. It's like it was the least dangerous hoodie ever. It was just this whole thing. And then Richard Cohen of the Washington Post, who thought he was writing a clever piece today, and he's like, why can't we talk about the real fear that we all feel when we see black kids in urban crime areas and wearing the uniform, the fucking uniform.
The uniform?
The uniform.
A
The hoodie.
hoodie?
Yeah, the uniform. I swear to God, no exaggeration. I think I have 12 hoodies. I love them, and I cut them here so that they don't choke my neck. You know,
Hoodie.
I don't know if that makes it more menacing or less menacing, but obviously I can wear it because it's cool. If a Jew wears a hoodie, he's just being cool. You know, so but even if you look at that picture, and you can find it on the internet, I mean, there's not one thing that if you saw that kid with his hood up in the rain, we forget that.
Yes, it was raining.
It was raining.
Yeah.
Well, they turn the hood up. But you know what? You get to put the hood up or not. It's up to you. It's up to you when you buy the hoodie.
It's interesting that that the jury saw the pictures of him dead, and that still didn't move them to say something had
Yes.
gone terribly wrong.